Oha, aho. I told Apeto Kinde, Atakun Iwa Hadakikte. Matu Ekedo Chicha Kapte. Atuketa Han wa Uki. Hodena ko Chicha Kapte. Kawashuchi Waikta Ha Heche. Hodena Oyaka Knikapte. Unka Matu Eke Wakia Uichwa Makepe. Dakota Hamacha. Dakota Makoche Etan de Hoi Chicha Pido. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to talk about some serious some issues, I guess, that I've been hearing for the past while now, and it has to do with treaties, lands, resources, that sort of thing. So it caused me to sit and explain to you who I am as a Dakota person in what we know as Dakota Territory, so that you will know who we are actually legally as Dakota people in Canada. And I will refer back to some history along with these talks. But we are, as a Dakota, the same that we were prior to colonization. Creator gave us a life. Creator gave us a territory to thrive and to live, to enjoy for generations in the future. And that is who we are as Dakota people. I, as a Dakota individual, I'm still here. I'm still the same person. We are still the same people prior to 1763, the Royal Proclamation given by King George. And I just want to talk a little bit about that. So what the Proclamation describes as Indian people, he talks about those Indian nations east of the Appalachians. And specifically what I want to talk about is that portion of his proclamation where it deals with Indian nations west of the Appalachians. And he specifically says that those lands west of the Appalachians where he has not specifically purchased himself, those lands and those resources, or haven't outright been surrendered to him, those lands are to be left to the Indian nations that belong to those territories. And this is where we come in as Dakota people. And as such, when King George was saying that those lands west of the Appalachians that he hasn't purchased outright or surrendered to him, those lands are supposed to be left to the Indians. And if anybody should settle on those lands without his permission, they are there illegally and can be charged for doing so, and they can be taken to court. So can I say legally, should I say that because of that statement, anybody that is settled in Dakota Territory in Canada is there illegally and can be dealt with. And I just wanted to point that out too. War anyway between Britain and France when the king made this proclamation. And this 7-year war, he made an agreement, a treaty with the Dakota nations at that time. And this agreement, treaty has to do with the military, economic, and trade with the British government. That is where we stand as a sovereign nation within our territories in Canada. Now, when he specifically talks about those lands west of the Appalachians, that is where we stand, as I said before. So coming from that to the treaties after Canada became supposedly a sovereign nation, Dakotas were not included in those treaty negotiations and treaty talks, and eventually the treaty agreements. We did not participate in that, so we did not give or surrender the Dakota territories in Canada, as what the king was talking about. He did not outright purchase our lands, Dakota territories in Canada, nor did we surrender those lands to the king at that time. So that leaves us as the title holders to the Dakota territory, as we understand it, in Canada. So I would like to point out that fact that the treaties that were signed after 1871, treaties 2, 4, 6, and those going out to the west, I believe that those treaties were made illegally because that's Dakota territory and we haven't surrendered that. And today there is talks about the Métis wanting to make a treaty with the federal government. I must say that the federal government in Canada cannot make any treaties. It is the monarchy that has the legal right to make any kind of treaties with anybody in Canada. So Canada cannot do that unless it's approved by the Privy Council or the Governor General. And that has to come from the king to do that. Now, the reason why I say the Métis do not have any standing or legal right to make any treaties is because in the early days of Confederation, the treaty, the Métis were considered Canadian citizens already, and it's been recorded as such. Now, in those early days of Confederation, when Canada became part of the Confederation, there was a kind of a run for a provincial seat in Manitoba in the early parts of the Confederation. And this one individual, I can't remember his name now, but he was running for office in Manitoba, but he was worried about the Métis vote. So that should indicate that Métis were Canadian citizens already. He was concerned with the Métis vote, and eventually he did lose the election at that time because of the Métis vote. Now that should tell you that the Métis were Canadian citizens already, and today they cannot legally make any treaty with Canada. Legally, they can't do that because already they are Canadian citizens, and I wanted to mention that. And the rest of the Indian nations in Canada were only given Canadian status in 1960, without asking or notifying the Canadian Indians, the Treaty Indians, any notice. They just declared them Canadian citizens in 1960. Why? I don't know, but it's probably to cover up some legal discrepancies with what they're doing. So these things should be put on notice. These things should be talked about when any kind of treaties or land grabs or whatever happens in Dakota Territory. Firstly, they must come and talk to the Dakota people before any kind of land extractions or anything like that can happen. You have to talk to Dakota first, because we did not surrender or give up our title to our territory. So I just wanted to mention those things today, because those things are being talked about a lot lately, and especially in the case of Métis trying to make a treaty with Canada. It can't happen because you're already determined Canadian citizens. So I wanted to mention that, and we are a nation. We had sovereignty prior to Canada, and we still have sovereignty today because we did not give up jurisdiction of any kind to Canada or to the British Crown. And that's what I wanted to say today. Thank you for listening.